NRG did terribly to start out the year. I don't think there's any denying that. And they got a ton of flack from the community. They had a bunch of talented rookies that were seemingly being held back by FNS's impressive performances, and the entire community found it very easy to dogpile on them. And I can't blame them. I was obviously included. You've seen some of my past videos, I'm assuming. But there are not a lot of teams that manage to completely reinvent themselves in an offseason. Kicking your IGL is one of the hardest things to do because it means you have to completely change your team identity, your strategy, as well as, obviously, that player change. NRG are one of the very, very, very few teams to be able to do it successfully, and in this video, we're going to find out why. What makes Ethan able to IGL the second time around, and why is this NRG team now the 1 seed to qualify, and has qualified, to playoffs? I'm Lionzblade. I'm trying to hit 7.5K after this video, so go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment, it makes me feel good, and let's get into it. Now, NRG have lost the last 4 rounds, but Ethan understands pacing very, very, very well, and how important it is to switch up how fast or slow you play generally. For example, Ethan is a very slow-moving IGL a lot of the time, but he's going to call for a fast pop every once in a while just to keep crew on their toes. Does a wonderful job of kind of grabbing the momentum here with this fast round. I also want to talk about how confident Scuba is on this. If you'll notice, as soon as round starts, he's running it down. B main over here, knowing, hey, I can just take this space because of this A fight, because of this, and that confidence allows him to go through the Viper wall, get this kill onto Shy, who obviously thinks that there's no way anyone would be stupid enough, really, to go through this Viper wall, stupid or confident, however you want to put it. It does end up winning NRG the round here with that fast call. I love that. We're going to talk about the fragging. Obviously, anyone that comes in over FNS is going to be an upgrade fragging wise. I think there are maybe like 2 or 3 people. Drop a comment if you know the 2 or 3 people that you would say are worse fragging wise in VCT right now than him. But yeah, I mean, not to diss him, but you're going to have that upgrade fragging wise. But I also want to talk about some other stuff. Let's go to the next round. The aforementioned firepower upgrade is right here, but I also do like what crew are doing here. See, they're running this double duelist composition, and what it means, I don't particularly normally like comps like this. I'm not a huge fan of double duelist on maps like Lotus, just because I think a lot of teams play it inefficiently. However, crew do it really well here, even with the limited information that you're going to have, because as you see, they're not running a sentinel. They did well on defense, but why they're able to let Dantes get inserted here in B is because you have that other duelist, you have the firepower. Unfortunately for crew, this Vice Flash loses them the game, or excuse me, the round. I mean, they all get like literally just full blinded completely. Now this lurk gets found out. Dantes did not have a good day today, to be quite honest with you, but gets the kill onto Ethan and then gets scoobed on, patent pending, obviously, for a nice pistol round for NRG. I want you to watch how confidently Ethan is able to IGL this team in the bonus round. They stacked A, and within 5 seconds, they immediately discern there's no big fight here. We're going to go towards C. And if you'll notice, that's because they have a lot of close range weaponry over here, the Stingers, the Judge, and they need to get on site quickly here. As you see, Ethan may have seen Shy, he might have not. Shy obviously saw him, but watch what this quick rotation does. See, Dantes, again, didn't have the best map. We're going to ignore it and hope that he's still good, you know, for the next one. But he's going to peek into 3 people because of this quick rotation. Brock is able to get 2, and then suddenly it turns into a 2v1 where Mata, he's been A, he's the only person that didn't really rotate. He stayed for A pressure in case someone came over to kind of hold that space in case there was a rotation call from crew. He sits main with the Judge. Now, this ends up working, actually, because Shy wants to rotate off of C, try and see what he can do, but Mata greets him with a shotgun to the chest here. Wonderful job. It is 9-6. NRG up right here, comfortable in the lead. But NRG have a very, very interesting adjustment here. The thorns for Brock don't go down. He's using them on the fly over here. As you'll notice, he doesn't have either one of them placed. Ends up coming over towards C when there's pressure, placing them there for that stall. And I do really love that adaptation, right? You have the raise in the crew comp, you know, a nade or something could break them. And I really do like that idea coming out from him. And then obviously he has the wall B main with the Viper wall as well. But something that I think goes pretty unnoticed honestly, from the side of NRG is that B main jiggle that you saw earlier from Mata, which he immediately, as soon as he, if we can go back properly, as soon as he ends up seeing Shy over here, he goes, starts calming, and if you notice, NRG rotate over towards A off of this information. Now, I'm going to be honest here. That's not something that's guaranteed success every time. Just because Shy has been lurking in that B main space, even when there's been a C hit coming out from crew, but it is the right call here, as you'll see. Sam just keeps spamming with the Odin and spamming and spamming and spamming. Ethical gameplay, of course, from Sam over here, and he literally just continues to spam the Odin on A. I do like the casters here pointing out how this, B-Lurk here is going to end up being watched for if something doesn't change, but something does change. Now, again, this is another time, if you'll remember the Dantes lurk, where a lurk ends up just not having any impact because everyone dies on sight. Great job from NRG just killing everyone, but it has to be annoying right here for Melzer, who has a really good B-Lurk, to then have all of his teammates die on sight. He now has to completely give it up and then ends up dying to this corner here. So it does feel like you could have, if your teammates don't die there are a couple rounds here that could have gone a lot differently with these lurks if they were, able to be completed. Unfortunately, they aren't. But there is one problem for NRG that I think is going a bit unnoticed. And that is their sunset. It has been a huge disaster. It was a disaster earlier, 13-6, and the answer is actually quite simple. Sam goes on Sentinel for some reason in this. Now, I'm going to be honest, I have no idea why. In the Esports World Cup game against Gen G, Sam was on Omen, did fine, Scoob was on Cypher and did fine, but the rest of the team didn't end up working out. Since then, they've played against 100 Thieves and had him on the deadlock here, which, again, they got 2-0'd, but Sam clearly wasn't comfortable. And then on the Cypher, where he goes almost double negative, losing to crew. This is a really big issue that someone's going to need to address, whether that be their opponent by picking Sunset, as you'll see here, crew end up picking it, or NRG by changing either the roles back or changing something up. It's very puzzling. If there are any NRG fans that know why the roles got swapped after this game, obviously you lost 13-6, but I mean, it's not like either of these games have been much better, and I would say Gen G are definitely better than crew. So if there are any NRG fans that know something that maybe I don't, please let me know. I can't be that tapped into all 12 teams. But let's look at a couple more rounds. Crew are getting desperate. You need something down 7-11, and they think that it's going to be this Nightfall on Mizzino. Now, I'm not really too confident in their decision to go towards the site that has the Viper's Pit and all of the Vice utility here. I just don't think that that's the wisest thing you could do. I'd much rather you hit either B or C over here where there's not that much stall. You can give them the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, they can see the pit, but they can't see the Vice utility. You don't have Vices here. And then they open the door and then the Thorns get popped. And I really feel like this should have been canceled right here, to be quite honest with you. However, they still want to stick to this site. They still want to chill out. You've seen that perfect Vice flash earlier. Here's yet another one that's just so good. If you had someone to swing off of it, you could definitely get 2 or 3 at the least right here. Now the fights start, and there's going to be the fatal from Ethan. Dantes goes 1 for 1, and then Brock kills him. But I want to talk about this from Kesnet. Again, 1v1 situation. He's paranoid. He can't use his gun. There's a bunch of stuff going on here. But again, every single player individually on NRG can win and have a pop-off round and can win that clutch situation. When, again, I don't really like just randomly dissing FNS like this, but if he's a guy that's last alive in the older versions of NRG, you don't feel like he's able to win that 1v1 situation as much. Whereas now, you absolutely, if Brock is the guy who I probably would fit FNS's role more, you believe in him. He's got 19. If it's Scuba, he's got 19, right? Even Ethan, we've seen him be able to do amazing things, especially in the clutch. Sam, great job to win this out, and there's one final round left. Now, we've seen that NRG are comfortable calling for super fast rotations. As you can see here, they have the A stack, and they tell Brock, good luck, buddy, with the Odin on the other side. We've seen how quick they'll call a rotation. I love how willing Ethan is to get a little crazy with, get funky, if you will, with a 4-man fast flank here onto Crew's backside. They don't have a sentinel, not playing one. So with this double duelist comp, you do lose that bit of the flank. You need to have someone flank, which leaves you open to timings, like is about to happen to Shy here. Now, he doesn't die, but different timing he definitely could have. And more importantly, they get a free pick right here, as you'll see Mata able to get the call into Melzer. It is really funny, actually. The entire gameplay for Crew was this Raze ult, just kind of hoping you're going to be able to get one once you go see. Spoiler alert, nothing. And then NRG instantly flip back to a pretty normal standard setup, honestly. They just go through B, and this looks like any other C retake, where it's a lot of people waterfall, you maybe have one flank, and it's great that they're able to flip that from what was such an unstandard round just a couple of seconds earlier. With this, though, you need Crew, someone on them, to make a play if you want to keep this map going. Shy tries. You know, he tries his best here. Dante's, again, I feel like I'm just calling him out every other, like, second now. But Dante's over here doesn't get a kill, but Shy able to get 2, make it a 2v3, but at the end, excuse me, a 3v3. But Kesnet left in a 1v3 scenario, not going to be able to clutch it out. NRG have done a wonderful job of reinventing themselves. I would love to hear what you guys think of in the comments. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.